Hey, Warrior Saints. Glad to have you beautiful people back with us as we wrap up our week looking at the gods you worship. It's an interesting thing that we've been working through. And yesterday I talked a lot about rage. And a funny thing happened after I talked about it. I felt angry the whole rest of the day. It was really bizarre. It got me all riled up and all fired up. And I just kept going with that. And I kept moving and moving and moving. And I was thinking, like, why do we want to live like this? And that brings me to today, talking about kind of the lengths to which we are willing to go to maintain that stuff. I mean, yesterday we talked about our social media and the rage that comes out from it. The day before, we talked about the political landscape of the world and the rage that comes out from it. The day before, our phones and how we get so tethered and leashed to them. The day before, we talked about food and all the different things that pull at us, that we want to lob onto. We want to just keep them, and we want to hold them close. We want to, just maintain them. And we are so willing to just keep making excuse after excuse after excuse as to why we need to do these things so that we can keep them. We recognize that all those other things are not working. They just don't work. But then we don't know how to function without them. It's like addiction. It's like addictive behavior, where we almost become afraid of what it will be like to live without that. For example, I used the example yesterday of my own Facebook usage and being on my phone too much, and my wife saying to me, "Don't be on your phone so much." I'll go through the process of deleting Facebook from my phone. And then I will create a scenario in my mind where I have to re-download Facebook. And then she'll say to me, "I thought you deleted that from your phone." And I'll say, "I did, but like every day we do the live stream, and Facebook," it's their fault, "changed how we share on all our different platforms. So it's just way easier to do it on the phone than it is to do it from the computer. So I had to re-download it, and I can't get rid of it because I need it so that I can use it for that 30-second thing that I have to do every so often, as opposed to taking out my computer, which then turns it into a whole minute of my time." So we create these worlds, and then we live in these worlds that just keep us stuck in our rage because we have built these excuses around ourselves and walled ourselves in to a way that we want to live, that we know isn't working, that we're afraid to get out of. By comparison, we are shown a better way, a new way through that. In the book of Proverbs, where we hear all this wisdom, and we read this in church, in the Orthodox Church on Wednesday night, we hear the following from chapter 2. "If you cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God." If you seek these things out, if you go out there and are looking for something better, something different, and you search for it like it's silver, you search for it like a hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. You will find the knowledge of God. You will learn what it means for us to live the way that God intended for us to live. Not just spinning our wheels with our excuse making, boxing ourselves in and getting stuck in this rage that we hold on to, that we keep, and that we just are waiting to let out. Rather, there's a better way. There is a new way. There is the way of the warrior saint. That is the way that you break through that you can get through all of the BS. You can cut out your excuse making. We even have a bunch of lessons in our battle plan about getting rid of the excuses, about getting rid of ways to just focus on what you're supposed to focus on. So that after you get part 1 of the bundle, which is understanding the Bible, and you can learn what God intends for you to do with your life, you can then put it into action with a 6-part battle plan that will show you how to live that crucifixional life and will give you practical, tangible, and implementable steps that you can use in your life today so that you can be on the way of the warrior saint. We'll be back, as always, on Sunday at 9 and 10 a.m. Pacific, with our Orthros and Divine Liturgy, and then we'll be back after it again on Monday morning. And until we see you, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.